Today we're going to talk about onboarding, and specifically onboarding at scale using HowNow. So let me give a bit of context. My name is Alfie. I'm product marketing manager here at HowNow. I've been with the HowNow team for around a year and a half, and for the first year of my time here, I was customer success manager, where I looked after the implementation of around 30 different customers, very exciting, and creating onboarding journeys for over 100 different teams at those organizations as well. So I'd like to think that I know a little bit about onboarding and how it works. We know that onboarding has never been more important, and the Great Resignation has proven that to us. We see with organizations that have really impactful onboarding journeys, they have an increased retention of 69%, an increased amount of productivity of 70%, and we also know that the majority of those users, those people, decide, 82% of them, whether they're going to stay within an organization in the first 6 months of their working in that organization. This is why onboarding has never been more important. So I know, and we all know, that there are 4 good tenets to onboarding. We know that onboarding, according to Bamboo HR, takes on average 12 weeks in total. That's a little bit too long, and we want to automate it where possible, which is why automating is the key tenet here. There are 3 other elements as well. We want to set the scene, we want to give people what they need, and we want to ramp them up in their roles as well. So we'll dig into a little bit more detail just now. With HowNow, what you're able to do is automate the assigning and creation of user profiles on the platform with an integration with your HR system. HiBob, Bamboo, Workday, or for example Personio, we're able to integrate with them, and on a person's first start date, we're able to add them to the platform. This means that they can get started on their learning journey in no time at all. Additionally, with the use of custom rules, you're able to assign content to people based on when they start within your organization. If they've started the organization in less than 14 days, assign them to that onboarding course and get them started on their learning journey. You can also use a multiple of these learning custom rules to assign content to the same person based on what they've completed. You're also able to gamify the learning approach using badges and certificates as well, giving you a full progression pathway during that onboarding journey too, to get them started learning and embedding themselves into the organization. You're also able to personalize and create your own learning brand on HowNow and use badges and certificates to reinforce that as well within your organization to further your learning culture too. Next, we'll talk about setting the scene. As we discussed, we see a greater retention and greater productivity for users who feel part of the company that they work for. Setting the scene is creating a learning brand and also creating an employer brand as well, creating that full end-to-end journey of what the employee experience is. We also think it's really useful to set the scene for what the organization is like. What are your values as an organization? Are you particularly proud of your heritage, all of your brand story, or for example, the future plans that you have as an organization? These are all important considerations to make when you're constructing your onboarding. We want to reinforce the value of your business proposition to your employees, but also tell them the story of where the future of the product lies. So, using channels, playlists, and creating ultimately lots of different topics on the platform, we're able to assign content to people based on what's specifically relevant to them. Detail your perks, your benefits, and all of your kind of notional and well-being efforts towards your users. This way you're able to create a centralized home for all of your internal employee information, and you're also able to share it with just the new starters as well, so that they understand everything additional is on top of the compliance and the learning elements as well. Next, give people what they need. We know that compliance is a really important part of onboarding to any organization, whether it's GDPR, whether it's sexual harassment in the workplace, whether, for example, it's data protection as well. These are all really important things, and everyone looks different when it comes to compliance. We know that completing the essential training is just as important as completing all of the extra training as well. So, forge the two together. Take onboarding and compliance as one whole element, and automate the assigning of the content to people. Using those custom rules from before, you can assign all of that content to them based on what they've already completed, so that your users don't feel overwhelmed. You're also able to make sure that content is renewed at specific periods of time as well, choosing between monthly, quarterly, annual, or custom time periods to reassign content based on previous completions. This means that the platform takes care of everything. Additionally, when new starters are added to the platform, they're asked to complete a skills assessment. Every new starter is suggested skills based on job market data and based on their own self-assessment. They're able to request endorsement from their managers and their peers And they're able to get an aggregated score based on their self-assessment versus what their peers score them as. This means you're able to track skills progression from the very first day when they start working for your company all the way through their life cycle. This means whether they stay with you for 1 year, 10 years, 20 years or more, we're able to keep track of that skills progression over time. Next, ramp them up. We know that onboarding doesn't end with just a welcome and the compliance. Once people are orientated in your business, we want to make sure that we're giving them the tools that they need to perform exactly what they need to do in their organization. Creating a handbook is a really easy way to do this on HowNow. And you can use the playlist feature and the nugget creator to create handbooks based on individual organizational need. In this instance, we've got a marketing handbook. It groups together content that sits on Udemy, it sits on your Google Drives, for example, and all of the integrated tools that you use. You're also able to assign people to channels, for example, and interesting topics that they might find useful for them. If, for example, you added it to an onboarding channel or a pre-onboarding channel, you're able to assign this content into that specific home. Not only are you supporting employees' performance when they first start at the organization, you're also supporting later starters as well. It means that you have a constant source of truth for all of the information that you need to share with your people in the marketing team. You could also target just those users using the same custom rule approach, except instead of joining the organization, they would have joined the marketing team less than 10 days ago. You could also choose to send an email notification in case you want to remind all of your existing members of staff as well that this information is for them too. I think one of the additional things to consider is onboarding is an approach to how you ramp up your organization, not just your people. And a good onboarding approach also means that you're able to ramp up at scale. The important thing about using HowNow for this is that you're able to create something sustainable that grows with you as an organization. And our customers at checkout.com are a really good example of this. You can see that over the 2 years that they've been with us, they've managed to onboard from 900 people to now over 2,700 employees within their organization. We truly believe that onboarding is a really important way to make sure that you're creating a sustainable environment for learning and development, continuing to reinforce your learning brand and culture internally, and also that it helps support you in your growth as an organization as well.